All right, everybody, just like the title and the thumbnail suggests, we're going to take a look at the 5 things you absolutely have to know before filing your taxes. And to help us out with that, I have, as always, David, co-founder of CoinLedger. David, thanks for coming on for the 20th time.
Yep, I'm glad to be back, and we're in the home stretch of tax season in the US at least.
Yeah, exactly. And then to clarify some points here, if you're looking to file your taxes, this is what I've used now 3 going on 4 years. And it's not just in America. They've got a great piece of guides that I will link in the description. That's everything from US, Dubai, UK, Australia, Spain, Denmark. I mean, you name it, they can pretty much put together your taxes for you. And there's different guides out there that can help with that. So, but for today, what we're going to do is just kind of go through for the US stuff, because there is some overlap, but of course, check with your CPA or whoever does your taxes to make sure this is correct. Also, reference these guides. So, David, without further ado, let's come into the top 5. And the first one, and I think this is important, how to minimize taxes, not to how to avoid taxes, but these are the tax-free crypto transactions. And you can either hold it, you can buy crypto with fiat and hold it. You can transfer from one wallet that you own to another wallet that you own, or use crypto as a collateral for a loan. Any caveats here, David, before we go to number 2, as far as tax-free crypto transactions?
Yeah, exactly. This is an important thing for investors to know, just buying and holding and, riding out ups and downs, completely tax-free. You don't have any taxes to worry about. It's just when you're disposing of assets, whether you're selling them or trading them for another, that you realize that gain or loss. So these 4 types of transactions, completely tax-free. On, the loan side, just be cautious there. Some folks do take out, like collateral against their like Bitcoin holdings. Maybe they want to go buy a house or realize some of their gains without triggering that gain or loss. And a loan can be a way to do it. But just beware, if the price drops significantly, you can be margin called and have to post more collateral to, maintain the ratio on that loan. So just be cautious there. But yes, all these 4 complete tax-free types of transactions.
Gotcha. Follow-up question. If the margin calls come in, we can't meet that and we get liquidated, is that a taxable event, or can we just keep going?
Yes, it is, because it's a disposal of your crypto, and so it is a taxable event. More on that, we have a detailed guide on like margin and crypto, and so that's another good one for if people are curious about how that actually works.
Awesome. Okay, number 1 in the books. Number 2, how much is crypto taxed? Now, here in America, we have a progressive tax system, and this is for the taxes for 2024. Now, David, just do me a favor, just go over this with me. This is ordinary income tax of 2024, not talking about cap gains itself. Correct. Right here. But this is okay, here's an example for like progressive tax, so everybody is on board here. If I make $610,000 per year, does that mean that I'm taxed everything at 37%, or is it 10% and 12 and 22 and 24? How does this work?
Exactly what you said. It's not just all taxed at 37%. The first $11,600 of income gets taxed at that 10%. The next amount of your income in the next band, that 11,000 to 47,000 gets taxed at 12%. So each chunk of your income gets taxed progressively higher. And then you mentioned if you're in that 610,000, that delta of income would get taxed at the highest rate, 37%.
Yeah, gotcha. 37%. And of course, it's all different. If you're single, married, filing jointly, or separately, or head of household. This is where it gets good long-term cap gains for 2024. Now, if you're single and you are and you make up to, let's say you make 45,000, that's with everything. So you're not paying a dime, correct?
Right, exactly. Yep.
Okay. And these long-term capital gains, are we talking about the income that you have plus the actual gains from the sales of crypto and different assets, or is this just either or?
It's both. Yeah. So this captures all income. And so if just long-term capital gains were your only source of income, they would hit that bracket. And you can see that, holding crypto for longer than a year comes with tax benefits. You aren't taxed as high as you saw with like the ordinary income brackets, which those are the same brackets for short-term capital gains, which is if I bought Bitcoin and I sold it less than a year later, that's just considered essentially ordinary income, and it gets taxed at those rates.
Gotcha. Okay. And there's a difference between short-term and long-term, of course. For in America, we're talking about 12 months or before short-term, and then a year or after long-term, correct?
Exactly.
Gotcha. All right. So number 2 is in the books. Let's take a look at number 3. And this is a big one because people are asking me, Rob, do I really have to file these things? Because I don't have gains. Well, here's the thing. Can the IRS track your crypto? Apparently, if you have ever in your crypto career have used a centralized exchange, there is a good chance that they have reported this to the IRS or the central tax authority for whatever country that you live in. So exchanges like Coinbase will send these 1099 forms. And also, I didn't know this, the agency, which would be the IRS, has worked with contractors like Chain Analysis in the past to crack down on tax fraud. David, just expand on this of why people should be putting in their taxes.
Yeah, essentially now and in the future as well, the IRS is just increasing their enforcement mechanisms to figure out who should be reporting some amount of crypto income or who has crypto activity, and they should see that reflected on the individual's tax return. The biggest one is what we have highlighted first is those 1099 forms, and those have existed for a long time, and they're going to exist even more in the future as 1099 DAs start coming out next year, but already 1099 MISC, as well as other forms of 1099s, crypto exchanges file to the IRS, essentially reporting on your crypto transactions. And then the IRS also, they work with, vendors like Chain Analysis, TRM Labs, other folks who you may have heard of names, to help them figure out, okay, I see this on-chain crypto activity. It's linked to these wallets, and I see it sent to this known Coinbase wallet. They use all these tools at their disposal to help investigate tax fraud, who should be paying taxes. It's not meant to be some scary thing, but it's just a reality, and the tool sets at the IRS's disposal to figure out, tax fraud cases, again, tax liability in crypto.
Gotcha. So, I mean, we all want to do the right thing, for the most part. But let's just say that we're human, we mess up, we make mistakes. What if, for example, we just, either forgot or just like, I've been dragging my feet, finally I'll get to it. How does this work, and will we get penalized for doing this?
Yeah, so you can always go back and file an amendment to a prior tax return up to some threshold. Like, I don't think you can do it like 20 years ago. But the question of, is there a penalty? Yes, you will have to pay back taxes on any gains or income that you did not pay taxes on. And there is a late payment penalty. Now, if you have very significant income that you did not report in years past, we always say it's better to get ahead of that than to have the IRS come knocking at your door. Now, it's a risk that only you, and I mean you as in the individual watching this content, has to assess whether that's a risk you're willing to take. But again, the IRS is very much ramping up their enforcement mechanisms. So the good news is you can amend prior year's returns. Bad news is you will owe back taxes and potential penalties if you didn't pay taxes on an amount of income that you incurred.
And then just to clarify, let's say that we have had no gains. Let's say we put into something like crazy, like whatever, fill in the blank, Luna, Fartcoin, whatever. And we've got no gains. How does that work then if we come back and say, okay, we're filing, I've got big losses?
Yeah, it's still recommended to file the amendment because then you can essentially get a refund from the IRS, right? Because you likely overpaid on your taxes. But if they come and audit you in the future and you had losses, you can prove that to them and show them, hey, I don't owe taxes on these transactions. So by law, you are required to report gains and losses. But in the future, if they come to you trying to audit you and you only have losses, you can prove that to them with software like CoinLedger and say, hey, look, I lost $20,000. Like, actually, you guys owe me money. And so that's how that works. Now, again, none of this is meant to be explicit tax advice. I still would always recommend talking to a tax advisor if you have a complex situation, because everyone's situations are unique, but that is how that actually shakes out.
Yeah. And if this is something that's like, you're like, I don't want to do this, this just sounds like too much of a thing, don't worry. I mean, if you're looking for somebody who knows what they're doing, there's two options here over here at CoinLedger. So you have a done for you type of program, which there'll be links in the description for this one. And then if you want to just talk to any kind of lawyer or CPA, they're also here for you. So you have two options. One is pretty much, white glove service. The other one is a little bit more work, but it is there for you, and you're just not alone. So don't worry like you're like, damn it, I don't want to do this. This is awful, and I'm dragging my feet. It's okay. I've been in the same boat. Just get things done, and there is people to actually help you do those things. So that will lead us. So number 4 is in the books. Now let's get to the last one. How do we do this? So how do we calculate gains and losses? What's proceeds, what's cost basis? And I will say before we get into this, is that if you're looking for something to help you with, what I did, and this is a dummy account that CoinLedger set up for me, you can have a portfolio tracker, which is 100% free. And what is great about this is you put in your public address of your wallets for your different digital assets, and you can take a look and see like, what is the market value? What's my unrealized returns, or of course losses, and it's all right there for you. So you know how much if you want to sell, if you want to move things around, or if it's something that you think you could do something else with, it's all right here for you. And what's great about the portfolio tracker, one, it's free, and second, when you actually want to do things for your taxes, everything's right there for you. So David, just walk us through this real quick about proceeds and cost basis and how this works for CoinLedger, and how safe is it to put and have the integrations with the different centralized exchanges.
Yeah. So crypto taxes at their core are very simple, works the same as in stocks. And so if you, as we mentioned, dispose of crypto, there's going to be some market value that you're disposing it for, right? And so that would be your proceeds that you're incurring from the disposal. And then you also have what's known as a cost basis, which is you paid some amount of money for that asset originally. And so the simple math that you do is, proceeds minus your basis, what you paid for it, is going to give you either your net gain or loss. And that's the amount that you report on your taxes. And this is very simple. Where it gets complex is if you have assets across multiple wallets, transfers, interacting with DeFi protocols. And this is where CoinLedger shines, because you can, as you mentioned, just safely connect your exchanges and wallets. We use read-only access on like our API integration, so that the only ability CoinLedger has is to read the transactions associated with your account. We have no ability to move money, make trades on your behalf. We can only just see the history. CoinLedger can stitch all of your transaction activity together from MetaMask and Coinbase and Phantom and anywhere where you were using crypto, stitch all of that data in one central spot for you, and then we can make those proceeds basis and gain loss calculations like instantly and generate tax forms for you, right? So that's really the value proposition of CoinLedger, is it's, instead of doing a bunch of spreadsheet gymnastics and trying to reconcile zillions of things, just plug it in, let the software crunch those numbers and generate your tax forms.
Got it. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So again, this is the one that I've used now for going on. I mean, I'll probably be using this for the rest of my time that I'm in crypto, which I cannot get out of. So this is something that interests you guys. There will be a link in the description. Looks just like this, crypto tax software I use. Go check that out. And again, it is April 4th right now. We got roughly 10 days to go, ladies and gentlemen. So this is down TikTok. David, any last words of wisdom for everybody who's worried about this?
The only last thing is, feel free to reach out to our customer support team if you have any questions. We'll answer your questions for free. We staff like a full-time customer support team, especially during the busy season. So just hit us up, and appreciate jumping on the channel, Rob.
Excellent. All right, everybody. So that's it. Again, like the video, like and subscribe. Links are in the description. Good luck, everybody. Thanks for stopping by.